Welcome to another episode of the Omziel Healing Sanctuary. We're back here at PT Ethos. We did an ice plunge a little while back, and I'm here with the owner, and we just want to feel out each other and see where we can go with some of the information and the services that he's providing here too. So please, brother, introduce yourself.
Awesome, thank you. So my name is Dr. John Puzio. I'm a physical therapist and the owner of Ethos PT. So I guess a little bit about kind of why I opened Ethos PT, how I got into it. I'll do my quick little spiel. Okay. So growing up, loved sports, fitness, stuff like that. And then got injured a bunch and basically ended up in PT clinics and loved the idea of it. Loved getting people better, helping people. So kind of knew this was like the path I wanted to go along. And then from there, got into PT school, started being an actual PT after graduation. It was like, okay, you're stuck in this environment where you're seeing multiple people. You're making small connections with them, but not getting into the deep level and really addressing their problems. So my goal was always one, be an entrepreneur, and two, provide the best experience. So Ethos PT kind of lets me do that all in one. So everything we do is one-on-one in terms of when you come in, you're working with me, only me, and it's just us two solving whatever your issue is at that time. Just opened up in December, so relatively new. And then, like Omar said, we did a breathing workshop here and just trying to promote full wellness experience for people too. So when you come in with, say, knee pain, you have a small goal of getting out of pain, right? That's one thing, but what's your big goal? What's your why, and why do you want to get out of that pain, and what do you want to accomplish afterwards? So I think that's a lot what we've discussed about in terms of full wellness and health and building that meaningful life. So it's bringing you on that journey from, all right, my knee hurts when I go down the stairs or when I squat, and then getting you back to that, and then getting you back to playing with your kids or going to play basketball, whatever it is you find, purpose and enjoyment with in life. So yeah, that's pretty much why I created it and what my goals are for the people that come in.
We noticed that you work in these small little groups, that one-on-one that you spoke about, and we love that, man, because we noticed that some people come in for these injuries where you help them because you're super knowledgeable. In fact, when we were here for the ice plunge, you helped one of the gentlemen out right on the spot, man. He was like, whoa, I'm better, and he keeps doing the exercise that you instructed him with. Yeah. But we also noticed that some people come here also just to get better. Yeah. This is not an injury spot. This is we'll help you with that. But if I want to play tennis better, I want to be a better golfer or play ball, baseball, soccer, all of that, or even lifting weights too, or lose weight too.
Yeah,
I saw that. I know. So how do you set them up with that mindset, man? Because it's really here.
Yeah, so that's a good point. I guess a lot of times I get focused on the rehab clients and the pain, but yeah, we do a lot of just performance training, whether it's you said, you want to get better at tennis, basketball, or running, whatever that is. Or if you just want to feel better, if you just want to train to be a more healthy human and more functional, that's part of it too. And then, I got a kid that's a bodybuilder and he beats his body up just physically. He knows the right things to do and I just do tissue work. So it's whatever you need help with to achieve that greater wellness and greater life, that's what it's here for. And then back to what you said, that one-on-one environment is the absolute key. So it sets the trust and the interactions from the get-go. So it's I know what makes you tick, and I can help you get to your end goal rather than just looking at you as your knee. Instead, I'm looking at you as Omar. Right. What is it that you want to achieve?
Right,
so,
right.
Yeah.
That's great, because I've also done some physical therapy in the past too, and I just saw them looking at me like some sort of textbook example that they were, you're not really interested. How did I get like that? What is my goal? And that, so I would imagine a lot of it is just a psychological profile of someone and finding out what is it that they really want.
Yeah.
You want to lose 10 pounds, but what is it that you want to do with that?
Yeah.
So how do you get into that, the mindset of that?
So I think one of the cool things I do that's a little different is say you fill out your info on the website, before you ever walk in the door, I'm calling you and we're talking for 15 minutes. Are you the right fit? not in an arrogant way, but like not everybody should come here. Like if you just want, regular PT and like you have a little ankle sprain and like you're not trying to get back to a greater, higher activity level, like some places are fine for that. So it's like that open conversation right from the get-go where like I'm trying to figure out what's best for you. Like I don't need everyone or want everyone. I want that like fit. And you should want that fit in terms of Ethos PT. So it's right from the start, like not, hey, what's your insurance? It's, hey, like what's going on? Tell me your story. Like, how did you get here? What do you want to get back to? So it's like diving into that rather than, like you said, the textbook example of like a knee pain. Like, I don't care about that. I want to know you. So it's like, it's fun.
That's great. That's great.
And honestly, I end up friends with most of my patients. So it's like it's a whole nother level of connection.
You're really easygoing, man. You're a great guy, bro. Appreciate you, man. Thank you. I know we met playing some ball. I know. And you checked me on that layup, man. I don't think I forgot about that. But the PT ethos. PT is the physical therapy.
Yeah.
But tell me about the ethos part.
Sure. So I'm a little of a nerd. Definitely a closet nerd. Loved like Greek, Roman history, mythology, like the wars back in the day in Spartan. So like as you can see with the logo, like the little Spartan. And then ethos comes from like ethos, pathos, logos. So like 3 ways of developing trust and communication, ethos being ethics, morality, truth. So in my mind, that was like, just one of those epiphany moments. I'm laying in bed half asleep and I'm like, ethos, that's going to be the name. So, but I guess it was that one-on-one aspect and that same thing, developing like trust and a rapport right from the initial interaction. So that just like, it was a fun way for me to integrate like what I enjoy, but also provide a message behind the name too.
Appreciate that. I know, because I could see that like going to the higher level, like what is it that you want? Like, what do you want to accomplish rather than like, okay, I fixed your ankle, now go ahead, go away, you know? But, at the Omziel Healing Sanctuary, one of the things we're big on is health and wellness and fitness. Like we tell people like, go do something, like go run, go lift weights or something. Like, what are you doing? Like you're sitting around. We often speak about the example of the car. Like if I gave you a car, you would know exactly what model it is and you'd know how to fix it and drive it. But our body is like the high performance vehicle. But yet we don't test it out. We don't run. We don't, exercise, hit or anything like that, And then the other thing that we also do is we help people on a deep level, right? With moving energy, because that's really what dis-ease is. It's something when you're hurting, it's something that it's energy that's stuck. So you're helping people in that area too, right? You're helping move the energy. So maybe you could tell us a little bit about like when somebody does come to you with some sort of injury, like how do you approach that?
Yeah, so I love 2 things you brought up there. I'll come back to the other one in terms of your body being like a car and like me being the mechanic, but I'll come back to that. But the first part of what you said in terms of, when someone comes with an issue and how does it relate to full health, like that's an interesting overlap. So like, we talk about not only like your shoulder pain, right? But how are you sleeping? What's your nutrition? Like, what's your stress? What's your work life? Like, we think of things in these separate little buckets, but like they all come together. And like you do a great job of that, even when we did the workshop, just talking about like, let go of like the outside world for a minute. Be here, be in this, like let breathing like interact with that process. And like there's so much to that. Like, if you have shoulder pain because you have bad posture and you sit at a desk all day. Like, what's your work-life balance? What's your work stress? Like, do you have a way to, get out of that and like let yourself calm back down? Like, how's your nutrition? Like, does that influence your inflammation throughout the body? Like, we eat garbage and processed food a lot of the time. So it's like that all has an influence on how the rest of your body functions, how you sleep, how your brain works, caffeine, like all these things just... It's a holistic model, right? Like I think both of us love talking about that stuff, and it's like you can't focus on one. Like you got to see everything at the same time, and then if there's an issue here and an issue here, like good, we have some good habits you're doing. Now let's fix those 2 and bring it back all together. And then
the car.
Yes, you read my mind. Of course. So I thought that was a perfect analogy for, like the bodybuilder kid I talked about before, or someone that just wants to come in after they're done treating their knee pain as like monthly tune-ups. So it's like, yeah, you only get one body. And like, you know, it's not always functioning at 100%. Like we all have aches and pains. We all have issues that we don't know how to address ourselves. So it's like, one, you know, learning the skill set to take care of yourself. Little things like foam rolling and mobility work, or like accessory exercises for certain parts of the body. It's like things we don't love to do, and it's not the flashiest, but like you have to almost be prescribed to it. And then like the mechanic analogy is like, I should be able to look at you, assess it, figure out what's going on, and then give you the next steps in terms of fixing it. Just like, you know, I don't know shit about cars. So like, I know a little bit, but if something's off, it's like, I can't diagnose that and fix it. So let me go find someone who can. Exactly. And like, you need that outside source.
Yeah. That's good. That's great. Like, we do have people, MMA fighters and you know, karate, jiu-jitsu, all different type of people that come through to Omziel. And, you know, once they're injured, and that's happened to me too, it's like, it really puts you down, like for a long time.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, if I, you know, my back or my knee or something like that, wow, I'm like, sometimes weeks, man. I'm like, my mind is saying, let's go. But if I go, I'm hurt more.
100%. And someone like you said, like, you know, jiu-jitsu, like those guys live and breathe jiu-jitsu and like what they do. And that brings them happiness. So it's like, you're stripping away a source of happiness because your body's holding you back from it. So it's like, why not make that initiative and go find the way to fix it and let you get back to doing what you enjoy? And I guess that's the whole mission behind it.
So how about the program? What program would you, is tailored to everyone's different? Yeah, I see.
100%.
I see. So people usually stick with it, or do you find people like, this is bullshit?
Yeah.
Or,
So I think that's a big part of, you know, almost like what I said before, that initial conversation, right? Like being honest and being like, hey, like, maybe I can help you be in less pain in one session, but we're not fixing your issue then. Like, what's the root cause? How do you address it, and how do you get longevity and performance in the long run? So it's like, that's a big conversation. And most people don't love committing to a journey. Like, they want that quick fix. And it's so much of our like society these days. Yeah, it's like, come in, like crack my back and I'm gonna feel good. And it's like, no, you probably have, you know, some core issues and some glute weakness, and you gotta like build that over time and relearn how to move. And it's like, it's also being transparent, you know, like I could maybe convince you to come in for one session and like get a little tune up, but it's being blunt and being like, hey, like this is something I've seen before, and you're going to need, you know, a period of time to get better. And it's a step by step journey, not just jumping to the end. So communication is like that key there, and then developing trust throughout the process, right? Like it's easy to, you know, get out of pain and then be like, okay, I'm good. And like, did you get back to 100% or 110%, or are you just at 90 and that's okay? Like, it's trying to show them that like, hey, like, just stick with it. Just go through, and like, that's goal setting, right? At the beginning, like, what's your long-term goal? What's your why? Like, not just the short-term get out of pain, but the long-term, like, I want to do this. And like, setting it all up with that end goal in mind, and then hitting your little goals, hitting the little wins that like make it exciting day to day.
Right. That's important too, because sometimes people just want the quick fix, and like, you know, we're big on that too. Like, what is it that you're trying to do? Like, you're just in a boat with no sail, and the wind comes and you just go, or you have a map and you're like, I'm going to this island and let me put up the sails and stuff like that. And I can see where you're guiding people into that. And there was a few other people that came during the ice session too, and they seemed to just like know you and trust you, and they were so open like that, bro.
Yeah, and I think that's part of the fun, right? Is building that community. And like before we jumped on this, we were talking about your event like a couple weekends ago, the Ethos event.
Yep. The
greatly named
Rising Ethos.
And,
I got it from you.
Like building a sense of community too, right? Because it's hard to do it all on your own. It's easier to be surrounded by like-minded people and like be inspired, be motivated, and like get to enjoy the ride. So like, you know, bringing in that breathing workshop and getting to like bring some of those little pieces together. And like once in a while I'll do like a fitness class where it's like 4 or 5 people, and it's like my little clients that like they kind of hear about each other, they may pass each other coming in and out or see each other on the Instagram, like they get to finally meet someone else that's going through the same stuff. And like that's a big part of life, is just that social connection and like enjoying the ride.
Yep, I've noticed that too. Like in all the things that I've done in different, in sales and different corporations, that I noticed that people, they just like to talk to other people.
Yeah.
Like they'll buy whatever you have. They'll spend time with you too. Like, or anything they'll do all that. But as long as they can communicate with you and feel like a sense of community.
Yeah.
They'll be like, whatever, man, what you got? What else you got?
For sure.
Yeah.
I can definitely say that. Some people, I'm definitely their therapist. Not physical therapist, but mental. Like this is their outlet.
I know that's
They
right.
come in and they're just like, they want to hang out and talk for an hour and like just relate and like work through their issues, whether it's mental, physical, whatever they're trying to tackle at the moment. So having someone is important.
That's great. That's what we're doing too. Like we have a place where people come, we call it a hub. Like people come, juice up and then get back out there, But if there's no place, like where do they turn? Alcohol, drugs, or some other addictions, and there's just no way to go, But we love the place that you're doing here, everything that's going on. So what about the future for PT Ethos? Where do you see?
Yeah. So trying to grow. Like I said, started in December. So slowly picking up, gaining like more clientele and like building that kind of network. Getting out there, doing workshops and stuff, trying to get into new communities. And then the next step would be, once things are rolling, hire another PT and like offer more services, whether it's like a massage therapist or just another general clinician, or what I'd really love is like there's a whole realm of like pelvic physical therapy, which is like addressing the pelvic floor. And it's, like you said, an uncomfortable situation that people bottle up and like avoid, but instead having somebody to talk to that it does those things. So it's like PT's a big world in that. You can tackle a lot of different stuff, but just bringing in another clinician, starting to give someone else a fun job rather than working in a PT mill, and just building that like team long term. And then, hopefully bigger space one day, a couple of other things down the pipeline. That's the goal, is just keep growing and like keep helping more people, especially too.
That's good. We want to do another ice plunge here.
Yeah, absolutely.
For us, we feel that that's the complete package, right? Because it's called healthy growth hormones, and you can grow them like when you fast or when you meditate, but those take a long time.
Yeah.
But getting into the ice, forcing yourself into an uncomfortable position, like it forces those healthy growth hormones, and then you get to escalate, and then you're stronger in other areas in your life. So we're looking forward to coming back here.
That was fun. That was a challenge.
I know. It was funny too. We had some good times. I know.
So definitely would love to get that going again. And like, I think it was cool also seeing like, some of my clients with some of the people from your end, and like seeing that mix and match. And it's like, they don't know each other, but they both have the end goals of health and wellness. And like, just love to talk to other people and meet them. So
you see one of the women that came there too, she's into mixed martial arts. Like she's heavy into it, man, like doing some competitions and stuff. She's working up, so they're serious,
Yeah.
But that's why we feel that, get into the ice, do the breath work. It alkalines your body, and then the ice water, it keeps down the inflammation and the pain, stuff like that. There's so many benefits. So
100%. You talk about breathing for hours and like just the benefits on that alone.
Exactly. Burning fat and but thank you so much for having this opportunity here to interview you, and we look forward to being with you and growing also, brother.
For sure. Always a pleasure talking to you. Thank you for having me.
Well, there you go. Another episode of the Omziel Healing Sanctuary. So just tune in next time for our next episode. Peace and thank you.